Hello everybody, it's Marcia. Wolves and Wonders with Marcia. Today is Friday. TGIF. No, today's not Friday. Today's Saturday, the 3rd. And I want to talk to you on dominant trait combinations. What is your dominant emotion? And there's 4 of them. There's mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. And we're going to talk about those today. It says you're born with 2 dominants or the strongest traits. The challenge is to strengthen, integrate, and balance the other 2 with your dominant traits to make them balanced. Once you have the identity of the dominant traits, look at how they are, how they're being expressed in your life. Is there one that is overactive and needs to be relaxed? Or is there a weak one that needs to be strengthened? A dominant trait can be overactive, meaning it needs to be relaxed. Words and questions in the following 2 pages that I'm going to read. And you can choose which one fits you to know which one's your dominant and which one's your one that needs help. It'll determine your dominant traits and the points of connection. Points of connections are the areas that you identify with the most. Okay, the goal is to connect with the intricate and opposite points. The more you have done and developed your recessive trait, the harder it is to distinguish your strongest tendency. If you have integrated your opposite side, remember back to a time before you made the decision to develop your recessive trait. To determine your point of connection, honestly look at yourself. With both the words and statements, select the set that relates to your basic needs. Answers according to your feelings, not what you were taught. Remember, one is not better than the other. Just remember, this is only you knows what what I'm going to read it, but only you know what is you, because it's you. Don't go by what your parents told you, or your aunt told you, or your grandparents, or your best friend told you, or your teacher, or your boss, or your kids, or your next door neighbor. Just go by your own feelings, your own thoughts. Forget about what anybody else says you were, or what they think you are. You do what's you. You know you. Only you know you completely, right? So I'm going to read the list, and you just choose which one is the strongest for you. Okay, it says, what sense do you ultimately rely on, your mental or your emotional? And this is often your first impulse and your strongest influence. When faced with a difficult situation, do you rely heavily on your ability to think it through logically, which is mental, or just the gut feeling on how to handle a situation, and then there's emotional. The words and statements below are attributes to each sense. Choose the one that best reflects your basic nature on tendencies. Okay. If you think before you do, or you feel before you do, rely on your mind before you do, or rely on your feelings, logic or gut feeling, focused or let it be, to the point or expansive, linear or random, peace, warm fuzzies, ambition or commitment, passion or belief, drive or action. The initial response is to think first and feel later, right? Okay. Or your initial response is to situations is to feel first and then think about it. Okay, at home you respond to the best reasonable requests. Or at home you respond to the best direct requests. You tend to approach your feelings to those of others who are detached, or you tend to become immersed in feelings, both yours and others. You prefer conversations to be logical, orderly, and non-emotional, or you prefer conversations that deal with emotions, with issues. Your dominant sense is mental, if any of that, if that was what you did, or your dominant sense is emotional. Are you more mental or emotional that doesn't display feelings? How about physical versus spiritual? I'm going to read the list of physical first, and then I'll read the list for spiritual and see which one fits you. Do you relate to identity? Do you relate or identify more with the body of the spirit, or the spirit with the body, or the body with the spirit? If you identify most of the body, your reality is closely associated with the physical body strength or physical presence. If you identify mostly with the spirit, your reality is characterized by intuition and physical caution. People in a strong spiritual connection often approach unfamiliar situations with physical experiences with caution, while physicals will jump right in and just do it. Okay, I'm going to read the physical first and see if any of these hit you or sounds like you. Sturdy, grounded, solid, earth, literal, scientific, anchored, visible, environment, grounded, tangible, manifestation, sensory, previous, factual. You prefer life to be orderly and straightforward. You prefer to hear a new idea several times before you try it. You go for the details in the big picture, or your body is with the spirit. That's for physical. Now I'm going to read the spiritual and see if this hits you. Fragile, air, delicate, sky, ethereal, magical, floating, unseen, universe, flexible, invisible, idea, sensitive, conceptual, initiative. You prefer life to occur with a natural ebb and flow. You enjoy trying new ideas and concepts immediately. You go from a big picture to details. And your spirit with the body. That's a spiritual. Is your dominant trait physical or spiritual? Select the one that relates your basic childhood nature. Now, with me reading through these, I'm more physical than I am spiritual, even though I'm spiritual. But I have some of both. But I have more of the physical than I am with the spiritual. And the mental and emotional, I guess I'm more emotional than I am mental. But I have some mental also. What do you have? Comment below. That's all I have for you this week, and I'll see you next Saturday. I hope you have a wonderful week. Happy Labor Day, guys. And tomorrow's my birthday. I'll be 59, believe it or not. I'm getting there. Almost ready to retire. In fact, I've already retired, but not legally. Anyway, I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful week. Ta-ta.